Good morning. Make sure you all can find me. Still alive, just making sure. Sometimes I'm always afraid it's not gonna. Hi, Donna. Hi, Patricia. Okay, let's see if I can find myself. The comments. Hi, Debbie, Lisa, Diana. Hope everyone is well today. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for joining me. So look, you notice my hair? I trimmed my own hair because I got tired of not being able to run my fingers through it or brush it. So I gave myself a hair trim. So yesterday I dried my hair all the way like a real grown-up would do back when we used to dry our hair and leave the house. It sounds a little crazy, but now it's a little crazy, right? So I have some fun graduation cards to share with you guys today. A couple of them are cards that I made a while ago. Hi, Megan. Thanks for joining from Australia. Evening in Australia. Thank you for joining. Hi, Amy. Hope you guys are doing well today. And I have on a crazy color shirt that when I'm down here low, it kind of looks like I don't have a shirt on, but I do have a shirt on, I promise you. Hi, Suzanne. Good morning. Hope you all are doing well. So I have a couple cards to share with you. And nice work on the haircut. I know, right? Well, I probably did a quarter, and then I did a quarter again, and then I remembered seeing this video. I can't remember where it was from, but it was on Facebook, and it was a man wearing a wig, and he gave himself a really bad haircut, and by the end, there was only a few, so I figured I better stop while I was ahead. Literally. But yeah, I gave myself a little trim. It's funny because my hair, as much as I love my hair, and my hair used to be naturally blonde for real, but now it's not. So I really thought that of all the things that my roots would be really just, but it was the split ends. The split ends were really getting me in the end. The roots I think I've learned to deal with, but split ends, when you can't get your fingers through your hair, then you know you have a problem, right? You haven't used a blow dryer since March 20th. I use mine occasionally. Mostly I've been using mine, Suzanne, just to kind of dry the top of my hair. But when I actually dried it all the way yesterday, I don't have any of those little crinkles in the back. So, progress! You're about to cut yours yourself, Gail. I tell you what, my friend Rhonda, shout out to her. She is working on the front line. She is a healthcare worker, and she was talking about her bangs were getting so long, and she said, and I'm in, she's in a bouffant and everything all day, so it's not like her hair shows, but when she's home, they were in her face. So she told me that what she did was she took her bangs and she twisted them. She said, I saw a YouTube video where if you twist them and cut them, it won't give you that straight line. So that's what I did with mine, just to be on the safe side. So crazy. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for joining today. Hi, Wendy. Oh, lucky you, Wendy. You have a lot of hair. That's a good sign. So today we're going to I have a couple cards to share with you. Like I said, I know we do love Rhonda, don't we, Tammy? She's always there to make us smile, at least. A couple of the cards I'm going to share are older printed cards. And I do have tutorials, so when we're finished, if you're watching this after the fact, or if you're watching this as a replay on Facebook or YouTube, I will put the links for these videos. But I have this really fun fold card that I made. Obviously, this is a while ago, because you can see this DSP is retired. But it's a card that sits up, so it's super fun. And you can see this is that old pattern with the bicycle paper, the going places. But let's see if I can get the light there. We do have Happy Graduation. Ooh, the lighting. It's very weird in here today because, hold on, sorry, there you go. It's very weird in here today because it's super overcast. It's like really, like I had a hard time getting out of bed today. So, but the cool part about this card is it folds flat. So you fold it in half. And it does fit in, where is one? A regular, and I do still have my pajama pants on, so. It does fit in a regular envelope, so it does fit in a plain old envelope. And then when they get it, they can pull it out. Yeah, the writing is backwards because I'm not on mirror. And then they can pull it out and they just push back the flaps and flip this little buddy up. And then you could always put your message underneath. So this is a really fun, easy card to make. I have another one. And then I have another different kind of a card to share too. This one was a different one using just a different type of paper, but same premise. So you fold it back. And then this one has this little, one of these I was going to say, one stood up easier than the other, but it has this little fold up component in there. So this is an easy card to make. Looks complicated. I promise it's not. And it folds. So you can make a bunch of these ahead of time and it folds into a 4x4 square. So very easy to store if you had some graduation cards to make. As a matter of fact, a good friend of mine, I just made a bunch of Mother's Day cards, and she asked me if I would make a graduation card for one of the Catholic schools, someone she knows who's graduating. So I'm going to make her one. So we're going to do it in red, black, and white. Those are the colors. And then another super fun card to make. Again, it's something that will stand up, and I will link to the video once I am finished with the live today. But these cards are really cute as well. So this card, that's a whole different stack of them. That's how much I like that card. I made that many. The other one is probably called an easel flap card. But Lisa, I will link it when we're finished and I put this onto my blog and onto YouTube. I will link the prior videos into the descriptions for those. So this card is a very simple card to make too. And also same thing. This one's just held together by a glue dot in the back. But you could do it with Velcro. My glue dot's sticking too much. You could do it with magnets if you wanted to, but this one is also one that does fold, so you could make a bunch of these if you wanted to kind of hang on to them. It also does fit into a regular, hopefully, maybe this one is just a teeny bit. This one is one of those tight envelopes, sorry. Let me see if this one, I know this does fit in a regular envelope. Well, it did anyway. See if I make a liar out of myself. This one you might need you might need to make a 5x7 envelope. So it will fit in if you kind of get the point in first. And you could always make your square just a little bit smaller. But you see, this one does fit in here. So I'll show you, I'll pull it out. So you probably have to put the point in first. Let's see if I can get mine to go in. Yeah, so it does go in. Just want to put the point in first. So this goes into a regular envelope as well. This is another, I think this one is called a tri-fold stand card. But again, I will look. So this is another one that fits in a regular envelope. And then when they pull it out, all I have to do is just pop it together like so. And then it'll stand up and you can add your little greeting. So I think I made some of these. These were for different ones. Obviously, we have birthday ones. There's a Christmas one. I need to update some of these. Just checking on you. This is a great one. Sorry, I'm sorry. The light here is really crazy today. This is a great one to be able to send to somebody right now. Just checking on you. But anyway, those are some fun fold cards that I've made in the past. So I thought those would be great for graduation because it would also be able to have something. So this person that made this one, there's actually, they put Velcro. So it Velcros closed. Someone gave me this actually at one of the on stages we went to. I believe it was Dawn, because Dawn is always making some very creative cards, but it does fold flat. So easy if you want to make a bunch of them and store them, or you can just leave them sitting out on your desk and then pop one out. You could just add a little square on the inside, put a smaller square, and you could write a note on it as well. TP card. Thank you, Megan. Thank you for all of the people who participate and tell me what it is that I can't remember. But anyway, today I actually saw a different card, and this one was a card that I saw on Dawn Olszewski's page, and someone had given her this card, so she recreated it again. So I thought we would do this card. It's more of a graduation cap opening card, and it was really, really cute. And I think the nicest part about this is that you could customize it to pretty much any school colors. You could go with the standard black and then add white to it. You could do it in school colors. It's like a Star Trek card. Yes, Diana, that is absolutely right. That is exactly, it reminds me of like a spaceship, but TP is probably a better name for it. TP, spaceship, Star Trek card. So I like doing these kind of cards as well because it also, especially since we can't really get out, it's really going to be fun for the person who gets it because they can kind of leave it out and it'll be like more of an interactive card, even for kids who are graduating from college or high school or graduate school or whatever, just to let them know that you thought of them. So I'm hopefully going to do this card justice. And I only say that because right before we start, if you all have watched this before, hey Mary, the other one, what would it be called? It's like a, it's a stand-up card, but I can't remember. I will look. I know I have the name of it, Becky. When I get it, I'll go back and answer all these questions. But I made this one because one, I didn't want to show you that I made this one wrong. So I did make one because I was trying to make the base and I thought I better do this just to make sure. It's not complicated, but if you don't score it correctly, it will come out looking like this instead of like this. So you want it to be a point. So if you all recall when we made those pop and twist cards, it's kind of like the inside of a pop and twist card, except instead of having a full flap up here, it just has this little point, and then you could make it into a graduation cap. Other thing you could do if you wanted to is you could always even make this little cap part, you could make an overlay for it. So this could be, if you say your colors are red and black and white, you could do red and then have a smaller square inside for white, and then the cap could be black. So it could be the three colors all in one. So hopefully this is going to turn out. I did make one correctly. I made one wah-wah, but it's okay. So hopefully I got the wah-wah out of the way, so we should be able to be better now. So when you make this card, what you're going to need is you can make 2 of these out of 1 full sheet of cardstock, so that's good. So you can get 2 for your money. And you could do, maybe if you did like a bunch of black ones, that way you could add the colors, or if you could do a bunch of gray ones even, and then you could add colors to it, or if you knew whose colors you were going to, you could use your base. So to make this card, you're going to need a piece that is 4 1/4 by 9 1/2. I'm sorry, 4 1/4 by 9 3/4. Thanks, Amy. I could use the encouragement. 4 1/4 by 9 3/4. That's what you'll need to make this card. And then we're going to do some stuff for the inside, so you can kind of change this up depending on how you want it to be. So without further delay, I am going to pop you down, but I want to tell you one more thing before I forget. I did an April stamp club to go, and Amy actually was one that participated in it. And for that, I did PDF with a video, and I did instructions, and you could do it 3 different ways. So my May, I'm getting ahead of myself, I don't know what month it is. My May card kit is going to be using the Buy the Doc bundle. So it's going to feature 1 Father's Day card and then 3 guy cards. You could always change it around to a different wording depending on what it is. You could send it out as a sympathy card because this does have a lot of different greetings in it. So if you would like any more information on that, I do have some information on my blog, and it is under the monthly kit to go, or might say monthly club to go. I don't have any specific information on there because the way we're allowed to list on our blog, you do have to contact me for information. Amy, you didn't make your cards yet. She has time. Mother's Day is this weekend, so get on it. But they weren't all Mother's Day cards. There was just 1 Mother's Day card, and then the other 3 were women cards. But anyway, I had a bunch of people do them, and they all seemed like they had fun. Hopefully, Amy is going to do hers, and she will have fun when she does it. But I tried to do them so they wouldn't all be Mother's Day cards because I thought that'd be a little hard. So I'm trying to change them around so you could use them. Also because, like me, I don't have a mother to send it to. I do have a mother-in-law, but some people might not need all those type of cards. So I do try to keep that in mind. That way you can also change them up to be something different. So anyway, that is my little plug for my May Stamp Club. So now I'm going to, it's hard to get started. It is, I feel the same way, trust me. Remember I was going to do that video with the Big Shot information? It is still on my list, but I haven't done it yet. They're just, I don't know where all the hours in the day are going, but they're going somewhere. One other thing I want to show you, there are a lot of retiring stamp sets that you could use that have some sort of proud of you, congratulations graduate. So I want to make you aware of these just in case you might have some. Morning Star has some great sentiments. Not really nice. I gotta kill this light, hold on. There we go. There is a really nice congratulations in special celebrations. And then Wonderful Moments. Another thing I was thinking is you could always add the girl and you can maybe put a little graduation cap on her that you cut out. So that might be another fun thing to do. In Check You Out, there's a great congratulations, kind of like a nice font that's not too scripty. Do the Impossible. I absolutely love this one. This one just has a lot of really positive sentiments that you could add to a graduate card. If you're wanting to go maybe more of a male route, so instead of adding the girl with the cap, maybe you could do this one. This one could probably, I would say, could kind of be pretty gender neutral either way, because it could just be somebody with their head to the side. So, and then Label Me Bold has a great congratulations. Royal Peacock, so proud of you. This is one of my favorite ones. I love that stamp set. Just for that, I have made one, and I will find this and post this as well with the girl, but instead of the hat, I put a graduation cap on her. So another one, and then another great one. This calls for confetti. That is a great one that you could do with So Sentimental. So I just wanted to show you, those are a lot of the stamp sets that I have that are retiring that would still be great just to be able to be used for graduations. So Rainbow Stamper is doing very well. Thank you very much for asking. Amy, I am not very organized, but thank you for saying that. That's very kind of you. He is actually using his 30 minutes of time on his iPad while I do this, and then we're going to get to schoolwork afterwards. But he's doing very well, considering it's very hard for, I'm sure, all kids now. I can't imagine. At least some kids that have siblings are blessed enough they have somebody to play with. All he has is his parents, which I know we can get to be lame after a while. So anyway, I'm going to flip you around. Good morning, Kathleen. Sorry, you got a quick look if you want to look away if this makes you nauseous. It's a close-up of my crab bag. All right, so might need to scoot my coffee over a little bit. Okie dokie. Actually, I did, Kathy. There is a blog post for my card kits to go. I put it on there yesterday, as a matter of fact, because I thought I never share that there. I don't really know why, but I think I just forget. I think that I just assume that everybody looks everywhere, and I'm like, oh, they're probably so tired of me saying the same thing over and over again. Okie doke. So, to begin, I'm going to show you this. Also, I have one other thing. I have this to give away. So, this is a host exclusive in the Spring Mini Catalog. So, make sure if you haven't already, leave a comment. I'm going to give this away. I have another fun one that I ordered with my Stampin' Rewards from the other day. And the host code is actually at the top of this Facebook post here. So if you have anything you'd like to purchase, if you use that host code, what it does is it basically contributes to things that I am able to give away. So the Make a Splash I will give away. So again, this was the one that was wrong. So I'm going to show you one that I did that was right. So this is what it looks like. So I didn't do anything with the bone folder. So let me just reinforce this, and then I will show you how to make it. So then what it will be is like popping up like that with your, this will be your graduation cap. Let me put my stand away. Oh, still making me laugh that Amy said I was organized. I really appreciate that. That's so nice, but I am so not organized, Amy. That gives me inspiration to become organized, but still not organized. Okay, so here is what we're going to be starting with. So I did one of these ahead of time just so I would know. So I'm going to keep this as my template in case I goof something up, because I didn't do any scoring, but I have marks on here. So I'm going to show you exactly how to make this. You will need a piercing mat, or you could also use your trimmer. So I'm going to actually use my trimmer, but if you don't have the trimmer, you could use a piercing mat and a ruler. You definitely need some sort of a stylus to be able to make your crease. So that's one other thing. I'll put this here, move this out of the way. I'm going to use my trimmer though. And instead of doing black, because black can be a little bit hard to see, I'm going to do one in smoky slate. And then this one we'll kind of go with will be like a traditional, we'll say black, white, and gray. So it's a very classic looking card. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this in half. So I have a full sheet of, in case I didn't say that, I have a full sheet of cardstock here. So it is 8.5 by 11. So I'm going to cut this at 4. Actually, while I'm at it, before I get started, I'm going to trim it to 9 3/4. That way we won't have to do that after the fact. So I'm going to cut the 11-inch side down to 9 3/4. Okay. And let me fold this back in. And now, so we have now that is 8.5 by 9 3/4. We're going to cut this in half at 4 1/4. Oops, that's scoring. Okay, so we have 2 pieces now. So now we have 2. So you can see how this is going to fit right on here. Okay, so we have 2 that we're going to do the same thing with. So to start, you're going to score it in half. Make sure I move my cutting blade at 5 1/2. Okay. So just like so. So it's just scored at 5 1/2. Then we're going to close this just like that. And now I just want to make sure I have my right side. So we're going to put this in to our trimmer. This is the folded side. Here's the flap. So you want the folded side in. And you're going to line the folded side up at 2 1/8. And you're going to take your scoring blade. And you're going to kind of just make a little notch. So you don't really want to score all the way across, you just want to mark it. And we're going to do the same thing on this side down at the bottom. So if you can see, there is a little notch here. This one's a little bit bigger. It doesn't really matter if it overlaps, but here and here. I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing. So once again, I'm taking it to 2 1/8 and 2 1/8 up here and just putting in a little score. Okay. Then you're going to open it up. Okay. And you're going to take the short end. So you have the long end, the 5 1/2 end. You want the other end. And you're going to line this up at 2 1/8. And then you're going to make a little mark up here. So you have 1, 2, 3, sort of down here, 4 and 5. So you have the 2 marks here from when it was folded at the bottom. The 2 marks at the top, these are going to make our crisscross, and then this is where we're going to cut, okay? So these might be a little bit hard to see. So what I'm going to do to try to make it easier, just real quick, is I'm going to just put a teeny little, where's my pencil mark here. So maybe you can see. Same on this. Only because on this kind of cardstock, sometimes it's hard to see, especially because it's like doom and gloom here today in Maryland. We had summer on Saturday, and then on Monday, fall came back in again. I actually have my heat on now. So hopefully you can see we have a mark here, 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 and here, just for your information purposes. So now what we're going to do is we're going to score. So if you don't have this trimmer, what you could do is you would use your Stampin' Pierce mat. You're going to take your ruler and you're going to line up at this point, and this point you're going to score with your stylus, okay? So that's how you would do it if you don't have a trimmer with this scoring blade. But since we have this, I'm going to put my first tick up here in the bar, and then I'm going to put my other tick down here in the bottom. Make sure you guys can see that. So we have it here, kind of in the center, and here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm holding my paper in place, and I'm just going to go back and forth and score. So here's one. You can see one line going across. Then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to line this one up and this one up. So this is probably how those pop and twists, I'm guessing, got started. Because if you do the pop and twist, then you put the piece in the middle that opens up. So we have both of our score marks here. Then what we're going to do is this, we're going to cut this to make the point, and that's it. So we're going to line up the center with this first little tick. So again, we're working on the shorter side now, not the longer side. And we're going to cut. There's one. And we're going to do the same on this one. Boom, just like that. So then what you're going to do is you're going to fold, and you're going to fold. Make sure they fold nicely. You can reinforce these with your bone folder too. And then you're going to bring it in, and you have your little cap fold card. Woohoo! I actually made one and I didn't ruin it. I am so proud of myself. So now I'm just going to hit these with this. So this should measure, thinking about 3 inches square. Man, look at me and my math. I'm so much better at math now since I started making cards. That's what we need to do for children who have a hard time with math. Get them to make cards. Really makes you better. So what we can do is, if you want a nice a nice interlay, what I'll say we'll do is we'll cut a piece that is 2 7/8. We'll do a white square, and then we could do a black square. So I'm just going to grab 2 of those. Let me see if I can find a piece of scrap. And then a black piece. So this one we're going to try to make really simple. Now, I'm sure someone on here, I'm hoping, remembers how they made these little dolls that had the yarn dolls. So I'm just doing this 2 7/8 square. And somehow you can make a tassel out of them. So whoever it is on here that's watching, now I'm going to cut this one down to 2 6/8. Share that with us so we can make those little tassels, because I think it's really relatively simple. So this was 2 6/8, so it's going to lay like that. It's going to just be a very thin border. That's what I was going for. You could certainly make it bigger if you wanted to. And it'll sit right on here. And then we're going to have to hook our little tassel on. So one other thing you can do for the inside here, and let me make sure that I don't goof this up. I actually have instructions written for the inside. So give me 1 second. I just want to make sure I have a correctly sized piece of paper. Oh, this one is all yucky, so we'll use the other side. Let's make sure. So it needs to be 4 by 5 1/4. Let's see. 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, and then we're going to mark at 2 inches on 3 sides. So let me see if I can do this how I remembered. So this is 2. So I have this marked between the 2 and the 6 inches. So I'm just going to mark it at 4. And then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to do the same thing again. So if we go to, and I'm only saying 7 inches so I know I'm 2 inches from the bottom. So 7 inches, I'll mark this one at 5. And then this one, I have this one lined up at 3 inches. We'll mark this one at 5. So I'm just basically marking 2 inches up. That's all. Let's see if I can do this correctly. Now I'm going to do my triangle trick again on this one. Okay. And corner. Oh, it's a moment of truth. Let's see if it works. Holy cow! Can you believe it? This is making up for all those goofy cards I did before where I messed things up. So all I did was I have my regular inside panel, because if you look at this, let me see if I have a piece here. If you look at the inside of the bottom of this, it is just a half sheet. So it would, well, this is a little bit bigger. This is cut to full. It would just fit. So basically what we did is if we have a 4 by 5 1/4, we just took off the top little pieces. So you're just marking 2 inches from one, 2 inches in the center, 2 inches from the other side, and then cutting to a triangle. So look at that. Can you believe this? Ladies and gentlemen, I did something without goofing it up. And then this is going to fit right on top, and we'll put our congratulations. You don't even know how happy I am right now. I feel like I have redeemed myself from all of the goofy stuff. So a great, right, unnormal time, a great way to do that, Michelle, is to add that. So let me see. I'm going to go. I'm going to look up here because I bet you somebody is, I make it look easy. Thank you, Kathleen. That's because I made a mistakey one that I shared with you ahead of time. I make mistakes so you don't have to, right? Okay. And let's see. Nobody shared that little, an origami frog. That's so cute. Nobody shared the little, where are we? Come on. Hogwarts. Is that what 9 3/4 is? I don't know. All right, somebody has to know how to make those little things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. Oh, hopefully I can find what it is I'm looking for. Like you too. It's like living in this house is like living in a house with U2. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. I would love to sing it right now and belt it out for you guys, but you probably would burst into tears because my singing is not super duper. Okay, so I'm going to just use some baker's twine. So what I'm getting at, and maybe somebody, whoever is on here, can be enlightening, but I think what you do is you wrap this around. We'll say like, that's a good many times. We'll say like 4 times I wrapped it. We'll see if this works. I can't quite remember. And I'm going to snip it. And then I think somehow what you do is you tie a knot at the top. Let's see. Tie a knot at the top. And I feel like I should tie 2 knots just to be safe, but I'm going to just do 1. A knot at the top. And then somehow you wrap this around. And I want to feel like you're going to pull it through somewhere, but I don't know if mine's going to go through. So let me see if I can just jam it in here real quick. This is probably the most rudimentary tassel that you ever saw in all your life. So, okay, so I have a kind of a twisty knot there. And now I'm just going to take this piece and I'm going to tie it through just to cover up this little hole that I made. So I guess this will work for now. But I know you guys know what I'm talking about. If anybody ever made these, I think these were a big thing. I'm going to say in like the, I don't want to insult anybody, in the 50s and 60s, but I could be wrong. So then we're going to cut this down. Just like that. So then you kind of have your tassel, and obviously we're going to trim this one off. And you probably are going to need to trim down your tassel a little bit because this could be a little bit long. Actually, that's not so bad right there. So I'm going to pull this just to make sure it's tight. This one could have been wrapped in. It would have looked a little nicer. I'm going to trim off this little doodly-doo here. And then I'm going to put this on with many glue dots. And probably some liquid glue too, just to be sure, because I always like to be safe on the safe side. So I'm going to add, oops, there's one. Try and get rid of all these extra supplies I've located in my craft room. Okay, so I went with the 4 glue dot security method. So I have 4 glue dots here. I'm going to just kind of press these in. All right, I'm going to set that on the side. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to just put my little cap part together. And I know this liquid glue is almost empty. I have my backup one, but since I have my amazing tool from Crafter Solutions, I get so much more glue out of my liquid glue. So that's going to be a really tight fit. So if you don't like it that tight, you could make it 1/4 inch. This is just 1/8 of an inch. But the nice part about the liquid glue is it gives you the flexibility. Let me move this over. We're going to put this one this way. That if you goober it up, you can kind of still adjust it. So we're going to put this one here. Just like so. And then I'm going to put a little bit of this in here for extra security measures. And I'm going to put my tassel. Ooh, that was a little too much glue there, Rach. Little too much glue. Hold on. Let me corral some of this in. And I'm going to press really hard just for a moment. And now I got a little glue schmutz there, but that's okay. I'm going to put this here, kind of keep our tassels together. But you could do, like, if you have, because I know I still have some of this, maybe if it's a person who's graduated with honors or something, you could add some of the gold baker's twine if you still have that. Or something specifically colored to whatever their class is. So this one's got yuckies on this side. So I'm going to attempt to use the other side. And what we're going to do is we're going to put, let's see what we have. We could even put some confetti in the card, and then when they open it, it'll just make a humongous mess. So proud of you would be nice. Just a little congratulations with a little, this will be nice. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to go with minimal for this one, since it's very black and gray and serious. So I'm going to use the little, this is kind of like a little galaxy dot. I like that one. And then we'll use congratulations. One other thing I want to tell you, this stamp says retiring too. So if this is something you want, oh, I must never have used this congratulations. If this is something you want to get it sooner. But one other thing I want to tell you, when you have these stamps that have a lot of really solid image, sometimes it's very helpful if you actually ink this in Versamark before you choose your ink, because then it gives a better inking to it. So I'll show you what I mean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a piece of, where is some scrap paper? Okay, so I'm going to grab a piece of scrap because I don't want this to be too dark. So let us see. We'll grab some real red, and I'm going to do just smoky slate. So let me ink this up. Okay, so that's even on the first one. That's not too dark. So I'm just going to put 1, 2. So just kind of 2, just a little visual interest. It's not to take over the card, just to make it a little exciting. So if we were to stamp this congratulations in real red, so since it is a very solid image stamp, you want to give it a second. It looks pretty good, but if you go ahead and add, let me just wipe this off so I don't get too much red in my Versamark. If you were to add a little bit of Versamark first, so you stamp into your Versamark, and then you stamp into your real red, and stamp and press, it gives you a little bit more of a solid image. So this one is a little bit darker, but this one's a little bit more solid. So just keep that in mind. If you ever have an image that's a solid image and it just doesn't stamp well, you can always add a little bit of Versamark first. It just kind of makes it a little stickier, and then helps it to ink up a little bit more solidly. All right, so let's add congratulations. Put that right across the center here. Hopefully this is remotely straight. Not so bad. Very cute. We move this over so I don't have a catastrophe, because y'all know how I am. I am like Messy Marvin and Pigpen rolled into one. So I'm going to do the same thing again for this. That way I have a little bit of wiggle room to adjust this if needed. And then we're going to slide this. Oh, I should have erased my pencil marks. That's okay. I can do it once we're done. Let me grab my eraser. Slide that in. I don't like erasing when I'm on here with you guys because it makes everything shake. There you go. That's good. So we have our, this is just a teeny bit crooked. There's that. And our graduate. And you could even totally, if you wanted to make it so they knew what it was coming, you could put your congratulations down here at the bottom. How about if we add we had one that said you did it, but maybe I'm missing it. We'll just add this because I really like this one. This So Very Proud of You is really nice. So I'm going to add this just kind of over here at the bottom, just so in case they don't realize what it is they're getting in the beginning. Let me bring back this. And we'll just kind of put this over here just as like a little, it's like a little footnote on their card. And I'm going to go with basic gray because I don't really want to add, not going to add black. I'll add some gray. You could do this again. This could be a totally school colored card. So Very Proud of You. Adorable. Really, really cute card. So let us, since I have that one that is in red that I needed, she said black, red, and white, and since I already cut one, we will do one like that. And what I'll do for this next one is I'm going to make the border a little bit bigger, and that way you guys can see which one it is that you might like better. So for this one, I did already do some of the scoring. I just didn't do all of the cutting yet. Move these couple things out of the way. So what I did was I went ahead and did my scoring here. So I have it scored down here at these little ones. So same thing again, just to show you though. You put the fold side in and you line up the edge here to 2 1/8. You're going to do your scoring. Okay, you're going to flip it over. Same thing, 2 1/8. Okay, and then you're going to put it in at the top, so the short side, not the long side, the short side. You're going to line this up once again at 2 1/8, and just give this a little score. So then we have our points here. So top points, bottom points, we're going to go ahead and score. So this is a little, let me see if I can, it's a little harder for me to see on the red, so I'm going to kind of pick, you know what, I might have to mark this anyway, because it's kind of hard to see. I can see the top one, it's just the bottom one. To start wearing my glasses when I stamp. Yikes. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing with the scoring. We're going to have a line here, and my other line is down here at the bottom. So we're going to just score this again. That moved. Probably the most important part is when you're doing this, unlike me speeding through this right now, take your time, make sure that your points line up. Always, if you're not sure about it, it's kind of same thing when you're building something. You want to measure twice or thrice or 4 times even. That way you only cut once. So we're going to fold those in. That's all we're doing there. And then we're going to cut from here to here. So same thing again. So let me see. I'm going to line this up and give it a little pencil mark. So we're going to cut from here to here and here to here. So top, bottom, 1. Everything okay, buddy? You sure?
Yeah. Right now I'm doing something you're not supposed to know I'm doing downstairs.
Okay, well, I hope you're following the rules. Okay, so then you're going to bring these in here, and then you have your cap. So we have that. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to outline it with white and do a black. So let me grab one more little scrap piece of black if I have a scrap. That might work. That one needs to be 2 6/8. Yep, that should be fine. This actually already has adhesive on the back of it, so it will help. So I'm going to use a piece that doesn't. I'm going to do that. And let me grab a white piece. Actually, I need 2 white pieces because I'm going to need one for the inside as well. So we will measure, once again, actually this one might work. So we're going to go with 2 and, so this is 3. So we're going to go with 2 3/4. Is that right? Which is also 2 3 4 5 2 6/8, which is what I said before. So this will be a 1/4 inch lay. So you're going to have a bigger border. So this means you're going to have a smaller cap. So it's fine. Just remember. And then we're going to go with another. So we'll go with 2 1/2. So it'll be 2 4/8, 2 1/2. So this will lay just like so. So we're going to have a bigger border. So a little bit more color, which is still very nice. Okay. Then we're going to do the same thing here again. So remember, this should measure, let me see, 5 1/4 by 4. This is going to be our inside piece, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to do this again with my ruler, just because it's a little bit simpler for me. So I'm going to put this in between. So we will say this is in between 4 and 8. So we're going to mark it at 6. And then we're going to turn it sideways, and we're going to mark up 2 inches. So kind of pick wherever this is. You're going to have this lined up at an inch spot. You're going to just mark it at 6. So it's 2 inches up. And same thing for the other side. This is the bottom, which technically is going to be the top. And then mark it at 6. Okay. So let me cut this, and then we will stamp and put this all together. I know we really didn't do a whole lot of super creating for this card because we did a lot of sharing in the beginning, but as always, I want to thank you guys very much for joining me. So we have cut those. So then this should fit nicely in here. Yep, perfect. So since this one's actually going to go to somebody, I'm going to make sure that I erase my pencil marks real quick. Okay. And then I'm going to try to do the same thing again. So we'll see what I did before when I did my cap. Have a little bit more hanging. I'm going to wrap it 1, 2. I'm going to do one more. 3. This one's a little bit longer. I'm going to send this through. Oops. This is probably the hardest part, is I don't remember what I did when I did this before. Send this through and tie it. I'm going to go through twice. Tie it in a knot with my other short end. Keep these pieces down. That way I can tie this tight. Okay, and then there is a way, again, I don't really know what it is, but there's a way where you wrap this around. So I think this is like makes a little yarn doll. But I'm going to put mine through. Mine's going to be the lazy yarn doll. Just want to make sure it's really tight because I don't want it to fall apart. So that's pretty tight. And I probably should have brought this down before I tied it because that's the same thing I didn't do last time. But I'm going to cut these loops and then we're going to trim these so they're all pretty much the same. I'm actually going to trim them a little bit more only because this cap is a teeny bit smaller. So they're a little bit smaller. So same thing again. I'll just use up those couple other glue dots. I think I only have 3 left here, so I'll just use these last 3. Stick them onto the back. Put that on the center. I should have tucked this one underneath, but that's okay. Still looks very cute. So same thing again. I'm going to glue this to my white panel. Make sure it's centered. Put this onto my card base. And I will put all of the measurements, I'm going to make sure this goes to the side. I'll put all of the measurements on my blog for this card. So you just have to hang in a little bit for that because we do have class today for Rainbow Stamper. He has class at 11, so it'll be up there after. And I probably should have reinforced my score lines because I think I forgot to do that. So when you do your folds like this, if you really reinforce your score lines before you fold it, it'll go together really nicely. So you can see it'll stay down really nicely. And last but not least, so we're going to add something in here. So let's see, what do we have? Let's do, this calls for confetti. You could even do this where you did a cutout little piece. So we'll put this here. This calls for confetti. And I still want to put a congratulations on there. And we'll just do the congratulations out of the check you out, because this is a really cool one. And you can even put the little owl on there with his glasses, and there's a graduation cap here too. I totally forgot. So in case you all were talking about this and I missed it, you could even do your little owl with the cap. So I'm going to put that onto this stamp, and then up here I'm going to put congratulations. So you know what, sometimes I'm a little late to the party. I'm going to pull this out, move this over here. So we will add these, because this one's a fun one. So this calls for confetti. We have our little graduation cap and congratulations. Try to put this on so I actually put it on so it's relatively straight. Okay, so I'm going to do same thing. I'm going to do red for the confetti, and then I will do black for the cap. This is the very first time I've used this confetti stamp, so I want to make sure it's stamped nicely. There we go. So put this at the bottom. This calls for confetti. And then I'm going to do the other two components in Memento. Same thing with this one. If you've never stamped with this before, the photopolymer, and the Rainbow Stamper has used this. You want to make sure you either kind of wipe it off, clean it off, get it on your hand a little bit to kind of get some of the factory stuff off, and then ink it. I'm going to put this right here. And where's my congratulations? Oh, I already got a little smudgy. I have to get my eraser out later. Congratulations. And then we're going to just pop this in our card. Let me see real quick. This is actually a product I got on Amazon. I think we used to carry something similar. But this is a double-sided eraser. You do have to be very careful when you use the sand side because it actually kind of takes a layer off of your paper, and you can eventually do it so much that you see through. But if you ever have any little boo-boos, it really does help with that. But you just want to be super duper gentle when you use it. But there is that. And all we have to do now is add this to the inside of our card. And just remember, I think I told you this before, if you do sell your cards, all you have to do is make sure you put on the back, there's a little Stampin' Up copyright logo. So if you're a demonstrator or a customer, hobby demonstrator, whatever the case may be, who makes and sells cards, just make sure you stamp that on there. Just because the stamps are copyrighted, copywritten. And how adorable! Super duper fun. I probably could have put that a little bit straighter, and maybe it would have been a good idea to stamp this on here so I could see where it was, but that's okay. I think it's super, super cute. So really, really great cards, really easy to make, a lot of fun because they will stand up for someone. They'll have a little something exciting to make their graduation this year, which unfortunately probably is a lot lamer, a little bit more interesting for them. Thank you guys so very much, as always, for joining me. I really and truly appreciate you stopping by, for the comments, for the likes, for the shares, for everything. If you haven't already, do make sure that you leave a comment because I am going to give away. I will draw and give away for that Make a Splash stamp set. Show you what these look like. Super cute. Personally, I like the bigger cap with the thinner border, but this one is equally cute as well. That kind of just depends on what it is that you want to do with yours. And if anybody knows a better way to make these little tassels, please feel free to share it on here. If you have a trick or something, absolutely feel free to share it. But this will fit also, once again, let me just show you. This will fit into your regular card envelope. Watch our tassel. So you can see it does fit in there very easily. If you put a big tassel in, you probably have to put a little bit extra postage. So if you don't want to do that, one other thing you could do is you could probably cut maybe a little scrap of paper, and then you could probably do some strips in it. Maybe add a little square on top of it. Let's see. Make it look a little bit slightly fancy. Maybe you could put a little white embellishment of sorts on top of it. Probably kind of put this together like so. So you could always, if you wanted to make it a little bit thinner, you could just trim up a little bit of something and then put something in the center. We used to have, and I don't know if these are still in the store, but we used to have these little white dots, and I don't have them handy enough that I can grab them, but they were just a little tiny white dot. You could always even put that on there just to give it a little something. Maybe put a pearl on there. You could kind of take your end and round it off a little bit if you wanted to make it look a little bit more fancy. Add them together, but you could do some little paper strips if you wanted to avoid this big knot there. But if you are fortunate enough that you can at least send something to your graduate in person, or maybe drop it by when you drive by to yell congratulations to them, then it won't matter about this. But you could use cross-stitch floss. Okay, that's a great idea because this is a little thick. What you probably could do if you wanted to, and that is a really good idea just about the thicknesses, with this baker's twine, because it is a little thicker, you probably could use much less of it and actually unwind it. So you can see that you can unwind this a little bit. And then you'll have a much thinner tassel, so then you wouldn't have to use as much. So that is a very good note. So thank you so much for sharing that, Luli. That is a really, really good idea. But you could kind of unravel this and then just not use as much of it because you could take the layers apart. Kind of like, well, you get what my drift is. So you would use less pieces and it wouldn't be quite as bulky. Or you could always just add an extra stamp too. So, or if you're sending them maybe some sort of a little gift, then you're going to put this into a bigger package to mail to them. Then it wouldn't really matter quite as much. But super cool idea. So I'm glad that I was looking that up from Dawn. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I do promise that I'm going to try to get that other video out with the Big Shot to share the different ways to do the sandwiches. So I'm going to put this on here, see if it holds it down so you can at least see what these look like. They're so cute, but they're fun too because they pop up. Thanks guys for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll put all the measurements and everything onto my blog later on today. I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope the sun is shining where you are. Even if it's not, just pretend it is. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you guys for watching. Take care and talk to you real soon.